motto was finis quadrant opus, meaning that the work, the end crowns the work. And that's what I was going to say to you. I think if anybody's ever epitomized that wonderful motto of our school, we have it here in Waverley. The amount of work she's put on what you have mentioned is absolutely magnificent. And that's taken a long period of time to do. Because of that, we are all together. Our esteemed headmaster's favourite saying was, "Finally, brethren, we are gathered together." You might remember those words. Every single final assembly at the end of term, that's what our esteemed Eric used to say. And that's what I say to you. Finally, brethren, we are gathered together. We're 50 years down the line. That is a long time. What we are finding, I think, most of us, is that we can recall what happened then, but last week's a bit different. But when I was standing over here and you started streaming, this incredible warm feeling of remembrance. And when the age strips away and you recognize who was there, that is such a superb, as you were saying, such a superb experience. If we go back to 1959, we came from a variety of schools. Grappinos Primary, Senior Primary, Fairmount, Orange Grove, HHA. I think that's basically it.
And Lyndhurst.
And Lyndhurst. And we came from all those different things because our parents had decided that we would go to this new school in the Veld. What made them do it, I don't know, but they sent us there, and that's what brought us all together. And so we were put into classes, and we established relationships with people. Peter Wagner and I remember were very close friends up until subjects split us. We were saying at 8 we took our subject choices. But we had those relationships. We were part of a very interesting situation. We were the first of the baby boomers. The baby boomers generation was 46 to 64. And because of that flood of babies after the war, understandably, the education department built 5 new schools. They built Northview, they built Queens, Hyde Park, Greenside and Roosevelt. And those, if you remember, are the schools that we played most of our sport against. And those 5 headmasters had a very tight bond coming through from the war. That's why we had the quadrangular athletics, etc. That was because those 4 headmasters decided in the war that if they ever became headmasters, they would create that kind of environment to continue that spirit. So that's where we came from. So we were first of the co-eds. Now, it might interest you that Highlands North was in fact a co-ed for 14 years. And then in 51 it split into Waverley and to Highlands. But we, in 59, that generation, were the first of the real co-eds. I think it was a very important thing. I've been in education, as you're probably aware, for 28 years. I can tell you categorically the co-ed situation is far better than monastic in most instances. It means it's natural. If you go to university, so there's a pretty woman next to you, don't fail because you fall down. Because you haven't seen a woman for 5 years. So we were part of that, and we all came together at Northview. We had a wonderful school. We had prefabs in the Veld. You recall? But it also had a wonderful staff and parent body. We devoted their time and things. By the time we matriculated, we had a magnificent, fair enough, the department provided the building. But we had facilities. The only thing we didn't have was a swimming pool. We paid for the swimming pool, and it opened the year after we left, you might remember. And we were asked to remember Basil Hots.
Yes.
My personal favourite activities were the inter-high athletics and inter-high swimming. Because that's the one time the whole school used to get together. And those big buses used to come, those big red buses, the double-deckers, we all used to get, we used to go to Wanderers for the athletics. We used to go to Edis Park for the swimming. And we had this incredible experience of seeing our springbucks. I mean, we had transfer swimmers coming out of our ears. We had superb swimmers. But I still remember Basil Hots in the breaststroke, Springbok, and Merle Fluxman, who was in standard 6, with the butterfly. They were superb. And that, funny enough, was thanks largely to Larry Cullen. Larry Cullen made us a swimming school, because that was his passion.
Can I thank you for one thing?
Yes.
That I'm here tonight because of you. Otherwise I wouldn't have been part of Northview School because you've prevented me from being expelled from smoking in the toilet.
said, you were one of the smokers. You used to walk past me and I could smell it in 50 meters. Anybody can smell a text in their 50 meters. And I used to just blindly close my eyes. The fact that it was coming from the It was Max Caven and a few others. Michael, were you one of those? Michael? Just checking.
Peter Simmery was there at the time.
Peter Simmery was a prefect.
Yeah, but he smoked with us.
So did Barry Eber.
Yes.
If we talk again of athletics, remind you of those peculiar little habits we used to have in those days, or custom. They had rosettes, you know? Inter-house athletics, whatever it might be, little rosettes. Yellow for Fleming, red for Newton, green for Edison, and blue for Listen. Right? Newton was red.
Newton.
Right, we all have our individual memories. All I'm going to try and do now is throw a few things at you and possibly it might stir again some of the memories you've been exploring with the people around you. We first just think of fashions. Denim jeans, stovepipes. We're talking about stovepipes. Remember we used to have uniform inspections, we're talking about it. We allowed 16-inch bottoms. And then Ian Sutherland's brother over there, Bobby, he had a thriving business in Salem. He used to take him down to 14. The same tailor.
And they're back in fashion today.
Did you?
Girls used to wear Lenker jeans. We had candy striped socks, remember? The girls had to go to uniform inspections, remember? And measure your skirt length. As soon as you left that, you used to roll. Frank used to say, hallelujah. We had lacquered hair, beehive hairstyles.
They're back.
We used to tan with brokering. And you girls used to wear those horrible white shirts to school. If we look at our social, the place we went to, we used to have in Sandham, Jabula we used to go to, I think Johannes Northview went to Temple Shalom. We used to have socials. Ah yes, it was Hillbrow, the Chelsea Hotel, Archie's. Bella Napoli at Skyline, Fontana, the Milky Lane. And then we had the first of the steakhouses across the road, Seven Steer. We used to go across there. I saw, about 10 years ago, I saw one of the original menus from the Seven Steer. T-bone steak with everything, remember, not separate. Right? 65 cents. A hamburger was 45.
Oh boy.
Not your friend.
Buses.
Oh yes.
We used to walk everywhere. We used to ride bicycles. The lucky guys had 50 cc's. Pirelli was the best to have. Pirelli, huh? That was the best to have. You had some funny thing, and I remember.
A Zundap.
It had a little tweet.
2 gears.
When we go to our buses, we had, remember Loveday Street, Terminus?
Yes.
Dick Streets.
Yes. Oh, Dick Street.
Dick Street.
And Lilliput
13 to Harlands North, 14 to Sydenham, 15B to Sandham, and I don't know to Grappinos.
Well done.
Number 13 came to Highlands North.
Yes.
I think 13B and 13A and Linda's.
Then we had our music. We're going to have a lot of music that Maureen's
From the 60s.
from the 60s, but we had our own bands. Ian, as mentioned, had tried to start his own. I think it never got anywhere.
The vacant lot.
Yes, that's when the people left. I remember that. But we had the Fury Cinema, Golden, Alan Wood, and Clive Corder, who ended up as top of the EMI in London. One of the biggest. That was the height of technology. That's what we had. That's all. So we listened to that.
All the Jewish boys got them for their bar mitzvahs and they come and listen to it and be all jealous.
Remember listening to sport? Olympic parade, David Davies, Sunday night. The squad cars, Friday night.
No place to hide.
No place to hide. The wise men, so got two lines. And Harrison used to give, if there was a cricket test on, he used to give the scores over the intercom during the day.
Wow, I didn't remember.
Yeah, that's what we used to do.
De Kietroleische maakjes, er is een 10 jaar de Scottische medisch.
We used to actually dress up to go to town.
Yes.
You didn't go to town in jeans and tackies. Stanford's, all those shops. Remember OK Bazaars, how big that was? I bought most of my Christmas presents. Really good. Have you been to Bioscope? Yeah, by the Vesta. But when we went smart, we went to town, we went to the Colosseum, 20th century, we got dressed up. Saturday night, we put on a collar and tie. Got football in the back there.
In the shadows in the Colosseum.
But on a more serious note, what struck me thinking over the months about this evening is that we lived, if you go to our school song, memories will last as long as life says, the friendships of Northview High which we had, and those glad carefree days. We were blessed, ladies and gentlemen. We lived in one of the most peaceful periods of that century. The war was over. In 1963 there were two major events. The one was when the world teetered on the verge of nuclear war, you might remember, Khrushchev, the Cuban Missile Crisis. We were concerned, we had to rely on newspapers, radios, etc. And the other one that was so significant was the Rivonia trial and the emergence of Nelson Mandela. So really the seeds were there that would drive further down the line, a lot of you overseas, etc., break up that type thing. But while we were there, it was a period of incredible prosperity, optimism, etc. We had, seriously, carefree days. What did we worry about? We had anything. Sadly, if you think about it, I was saying, the only black people I had any relationship with, whatsoever, was our domestic in the garden. Because we didn't meet them. They weren't allowed in the streets. So if you look at our Rainbow Nation today, and we go back there, we were kept away. We didn't even know Afrikaans people. The closest Afrikaans high school to Northview was Helpenka Boys and Helpenka Girls and Hoërskool Edenvale. We didn't play sport against them, we didn't do a thing. So we lived, United Party, English-speaking northern suburbs, that was our world.
Susie Roy, I stand to correction, rugby they played against Fockle.
Ja.
And I remember the fellows always shivered in their boots when they heard that. They Fockle.
When I was a headmaster and I'd announce sports result against that school, I had to be very careful with my pronunciation. And the sad thing there is that was the start perhaps of the disbursement of us all over the place. Also in '63, first time we had to do 9 months. We were drafted the previous year. The first time we went from 3 months to 9 months. Stephen went to the Army gym, I went to the Air Force gym, Barry Eber went to the Air Force gym, we did a year. We stopped. After '76, I had pupils on border wars, etc., whose lives were messed up for 4 or 5 years. So we missed all that. We had to do a little bit of military training, but that was it. It also meant that instead of us going through as a natural group before that, into wherever it might be, we actually started to lose contact with each other. And it was very sad. Because Army put us, the men all around the world, all around South Africa, the women went there and did things. Most of you were married before you were 23, you might recall. One of the significant reasons for that is one of the most significant scientific inventions of the 20th century is acknowledged as the pill. At that stage in '62 it was available to married women in Britain, but not generally. So the result is people got married younger, they had to. Those pressures were there, so people got married. It was not fair, ladies, to you, the world in those days. The glass ceiling was there, you had no chance of any significant position in any major company anywhere. There wasn't one woman headmistress of a school, other than a girls' school. Life has changed. But those were tough, so that's sort of the size we lived in.